Yeah, so I was talking to you guys a while back about how prison saved my life. And, it really has in a lot of ways. I really think about it, and it opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. And it sucks that it took so much time, but I think the thing is that, you think that, like, prison, like, that's bad enough, right? Like, getting to prison, but it gets worse, in prison. Like, when you wanna mess up, they got a place for people that mess up in prison. Like, you already go messing up to go to prison, but then you end up in prison and you continue to mess up. What they do is they put you under the prison, and that's what I, call the security housing unit, which with the shoe with the hole. They put you under the prison, and not literally like under the prison, but you feel like you're under the prison because, you're isolated. You're isolated in the place, and you're being punished further because of your actions, because you're a threat, to the security of the facility. You're deemed that, and when they put you in places like that, you just have a lot of time to think, and for me, that's what I remember thinking, like, how did my life come to this? Like, how did I, put myself even further, and, I started thinking about that, I started reflecting on my life, and really that's what prison's supposed to do, like, I believe that's what, prison was meant for, right? It's like, you're on a timeout, man, you're being punished, for what you did. Why don't you reflect, on how it came to this? Like, how did you end up, taken from society, taken from your family, and by your own choices, and placed inside a facility where you got to be told what to do, what you can't do, what you can't do, and everything else? Like, how did it get that bad? And for a lot of us with that criminal mindset, we come in here, we understand, like from an early age, like, jail is just a part of the game, when it comes to, like, being in the gang and things like that. Like, you kind of accept that, but you don't really understand.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
You don't really understand the sincerity of it, and so I think that you get a little older, a little wiser, sadly, as a kid, you kind of think you're invincible, until you're, like I said, sitting there with the life sentence, and you really start to reflect. And then you start to look in the mirror and you start to realize, like, man, maybe I am, a mess up. Maybe I have made some bad choices. And, that's honestly where you need to be to begin that change in your life. Like, to look at yourself and take a real good look at yourself and say, maybe I am responsible for a lot of things that happen, because sadly, we try to blame others, and we try to not accept responsibility, or we try to look at how others are worse than we are. And I know for myself, that's where it began, right there. Just starting to reflect in those places, and looking for answers, and for myself, reading the Bible, asking God, like, to guide me, to help me. That's the first person I asked for help was, because I realized, like, for me, I had gone so far and been so entrenched, in the lifestyle that, making the decision to change, it could result in me losing my life, because that's how gangs are, sadly, the truth is that, your own friends will take you out, and those are some tough decisions, I had to think about, but, I had to make those decisions for myself. But it was being in prison, that I say, it saved my life in that sense, because had I never came here, maybe I'd be dead right now. Like I said before, I have a lot of friends, they're heroin addicts now, or they died from fentanyl overdoses. Like, I don't know where I would be, but today, I'm helping my community, for men here, and even that can lead to, them getting out and helping others in the community. So I'm just doing my part, to give back, regardless if I ever see the streets again or not. I know that my legacy doesn't have to be that of a mess up or somebody that just is looked as a criminal or an inmate, I can still do something with my life. And, that's what I'm trying to do, even with the podcast and these little interviews I do right here. Because who knows, there's people tuning in. I might not have thousands of people, hitting my site or nothing like that, but even if I have a few people that hear it and it connects with them, and maybe it makes a change, maybe it makes a change in the kid's life, maybe it makes a change in the parent's life that helps the kid and it prevents them from being in the gang, I've done my part, and that's all that really matters. But for myself, yeah, it's a trip to say that, but it ain't just me, it's a lot of people. I said that before, that in groups you hear that all the time, like, prison saved my life. Like, I'd be dead right now if it wasn't for coming to jail, because I was on a road headed straight to destruction, and I was, same way. So thankfully that I'm one of the few that made those changes. And there's a lot now, but there's a lot of people that still they're blind to it. They're still thinking that they're just stuck in that addictive lifestyle and that criminal lifestyle.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
But there's always hope, right?